Welcome, it's Facts You Don't Know. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more, well, and first make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
Help is an action that one person does in a disinterested way for another to achieve a certain purpose, to alleviate or avoid a situation of distress or risk that may affect them. We do not know when we will need it, but what we must be sure of is that life always returns the acts or actions that we carry out for the benefit of our neighbor. This is the story of Brenda, a 19-year-old girl who worked in a very prestigious hotel on the outskirts of her town. At her early age, she had been left in the care of her younger brother, Lucas, and her sick father, Esteban, who could not develop a relatively normal life, since a tragic accident prevented her years ago, which affected her mother also, who died. During the day, she took care of her student work, and at night, she put on her apron, a bow tie, and worked as a waitress for the prestigious hotel, so she could take something to eat home where her father and little brother were waiting for her. Despite her situation, the girl was the most smiling of all. She attended with kindness and love to all the people in her charge, since she was aware that the job she had was the one that allowed her to bring something for her family. Brenda went down the elevator of that beautiful and prestigious hotel, as she was waiting for the new order from the administrator, since she had finished installing the new guests. On the other hand, as Francois walked down the avenue, she noticed a large building, a really large and luxurious one that seemed very familiar to her. Realizing this, she runs immediately. When she arrived, she noticed that it was completely full, because there was a nice restaurant inside that great hotel. Francois opened the door and quickly realized that all the gazes of those people who were inside that establishment were pointing towards him as he asked himself these questions. Why are they looking at me? Is it because of my appearance? Since her clothing was torn, his body was sore and hunched over, like badly hurt. Regardless of what was happening around him, he walked over to the reception desk and requested a phone and a space to stay. Do you know how to pay? The receptionist asked him. Of course not, I need your help, Francois exclaimed. I need to call someone to come for me, and I need to wait in a room. Well, I'm very cold. The people around him continued to look at him, and one of them exclaimed, What a bad appearance that man causes. At that moment, the people who were in the place witnessing everything exclaimed, Get out of here, crazy! Who do you think you are to come to demand or order something from this place? Get out of here, please. Please, I need help, Francois mentioned. No way, retire. At that moment, he pushed Francois' aching body, immediately falling to the floor. He was immediately kicked and humiliated by that woman in charge of the hotel. Francois got up and just left. Sorry for the bad time, mentioned the hotel manager. It looks like them and complimentary drinks to all of you, being applauded by all, as if you have done some good deed in everyone's eyes. However, it was the most feverish event ever seen for young Brenda, who, witnessing everything that happened, came out when no one could notice. As soon as she left, she saw that man on her knees on the outskirts of that establishment, praying and asking for divine help for her. He, who felt so weak and cold, mentioned Francois. Toast, upon hearing this, was moved and said, I don't have much time. However, I am very sorry for what just happened. No one deserves such vile and cruel treatment. I have a sick father at home, and I cry because I would not like to let someone treat you that way or be mistreated, still needing help. Today, the truth is I have not received many tips since I started to work just a moment ago. However, I have $5. Look, use it like you. I cannot offer you more because that is all I have at the moment. I don't even have transportation to my house anymore, Brenda mentioned. That old man looked back at her and began to cry, because it seemed like an answer to the prayers he had commended to heaven before she arrived. He was a flesh and blood angel, Francois exclaimed. Thank you. It is the best thing they have done for me in many years. You are a good young lady with a big heart, kind, tender, and sweet like you. The truth, people like you, there are not many left in this world. And what happens when I have happiness to find you? Hey, tell me, what is your name? Francois said. Brenda, the young woman replied. Thank you, she said. She got up, hugged each other, and went to a street upstairs, not without first saying, "Thank you, Brenda. Someday you will have everything you deserve, and that big sweetheart deserves." Many days passed, more than a week. The routine was the same for young Brenda: school, homework, her little brother's chores, and caring for her injured father. Brenda continued with the same spirit as always. She maintained a good relationship with each coworker. She continued to smile at each person who came to her work. Yes, that luxurious and beautiful hotel. After the aforementioned time, the hotel doors were opened. A very elegant man in a big hat, many jewels overflowing, good taste, money. The locals stared at her for her fine presence and good taste. In the eyes of all the people, she went directly to the reception and was attended exclusively by the manager of the place, who did not know what to do and wanted to please that very fine and well-dressed man. "Can I offer you something to drink?" the manager asked, smiling at the rather elegant man. Very politely, she replied, "Excuse me, ma'am, but you are rude and arrogant. You treat people worse than animals, and I did not want to be cared for by you." Very worried and surprised, that woman replied, "Excuse me, why do you say that, sir? We have met before?" The man looked her in the eye and said, "A few days ago, I was the victim of an assault, and therefore I was very disturbed and disoriented. I realized that I was near one of my prestigious hotel chains that I have, looking for help and a place to warm me up and take refuge until one of my relatives comes to rescue me." The old man replied, "At that moment, I understood that the staff who work for me are not the most suitable." The manager remembered that day. Could it be that it was with that old man? She apologized and was very embarrassed. "I have no problem with you. I forgive her too. But a person like you could not be in charge of the management of one of my hotels. Madam, you do not understand what love of neighbor and solidarity with others is." Everyone was still and silent when suddenly he saw Brenda. As usual, very smiling, as sweet as she is, but with her head bowed. She quickly got up from the lobby chair where he was and went to her. "Hey, young lady, you are Brenda, right?" In front of the people, she told them, "People like this girl, like those who have to be in charge of my hotel. So you are in charge as my new manager of this hotel. I will be eternally grateful for what you did that night for my girl." Brenda, who still not to believe what she was experiencing, burst into tears and hugged the old man, grateful for the great opportunity he was giving her, knowing that her father's suffering would end thanks to the treatment she could afford now and the many things she could buy for her little brother with this new position. Do you think he would have acted in such a way as on that occasion toast? Friends, one day Jesus, while on earth, mentioned, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." I suppose that behind that phrase that he himself exclaimed, there are blessings in abundance. We await you with our next story.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.